Finally, a new update on the game and what's happening. It's been like 8 months since last update, but there is a very good reason for that. And we are back on the track. So in this video, I'm gonna talk to you why did I stop, programming and updating, and you guys, and what happened, and why am I back on the track right now. So let's start with the game and what's happened since last time. So the problem I had or was having is a very complex problem, and I'm gonna explain to you what's happened. So we got a ship over here. Of course, we still can fly the ship. We can still shoot and target stuff, put the missiles. We cannot actually shoot these things because I actually changed a little bit the code, but everything is still working like the where we left off the last time. The thing that I was actually doing is adding hitboxes to the planes. Now the problem with hitboxes is that you have to hard code the hitboxes for every plane. So what I was making is a hitbox creator where you pick a plane and then you draw a hitbox on that plane somewhere. Right now the hitbox is over here, right? But you can take hitbox and draw it everywhere you want, right? So you can have several hitboxes up here on the chart, maybe up here and stuff like that, right? So it all automatically calculates where the hitboxes should be. So you don't have to figure out for every single plane, for every single station where the hitboxes should be. And this is very easy, and how it should be done. And so I was started creating this 8 months ago, and I came to a very, very complex problem. So the problem that I was thinking about is that when you have a ship and there is a hitbox over here, and hitbox are rectangular or circular or maybe even in polygon shape, but I wouldn't be using polygon shapes because there are very complex mathematical solutions to that. So I was thinking, rectangular hitboxes, should be able to be very easy to calculate and create. Now the problem is not when the hitbox is rectangular. The problem is when ships turns around, the shape of the hitbox is no longer rectangular towards the x and y axis. So let me explain to you the problem here a little bit. So when you got some kind of hitbox, right, and you got a bullet, and the bullet goes towards the hitbox, it's very easy to calculate because you got a x-axis right here and you got a y-axis up here, and you just calculate whether the bullet is inside the y and x space, and if it is, you got a hit, right? Very, very easy, very straightforward. The problem arises when the hitbox, when the plane, the ship. Let me draw the ship up here. I'm very bad at drawing ships. Okay, something like this over here. When you get a ship right now and you get some kind of hitbox over here, now the hitbox is very, very hard to calculate because you can no longer use the x and y axis because the rectangular is actually sitting on the side. So what you do over here, the one solution for this is having some kind of xy axis, some kind of center, and you calculate the bullet, and you calculate the edges, right? And what you do over there, you transform, or you rotate entire thing until this box over here is sitting something like this up here, right? So it is straight box again on the other side, and you rotate it by a certain angle, and you rotate also the ball around certain angle. And right now the ball maybe comes up here or something like this, and then you got a box, and this again very easy to calculate. And this is all nice and dandy. The problem becomes when you don't have the hitboxes, when you don't have the ball, but you have two hitboxes hitting each other. Right, so it's no longer a bullet, but it's a hitbox, right? So if you have two hitboxes that are straight, rectangular, very nicely, very easy to calculate, x, is it inside or not? Very easy. But the problem is when you have the screwed shape, and the other shape is also tilted toward one or other side. Now this is a very complex problem, and I did not understand that at the point. So I was using a lot of time trying to figure out how to calculate this. I was reading a lot of math, how to calculate, and the methods to do this. And I gotta tell you guys, I'm not that smart. I'm very stupid when it comes to math. I can do simple math, that's fine. I can do simple logic, that's fine. I understand how these things work, But when it comes to these kind of complex problems and mathematical problems, you know, my mind just goes like, bam, it's done. You know, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. So I kind of, I was doing this, you know, 8 months ago, and I kind of stopped. I kind of stopped doing it because the problem is very complex. So this is the client function up here, and we got a hitboxes up here, hitbox generator, and trying to, you know, calculate this was indeed very, very hard. What is it? Somewhere up here. Render hitbox window, sorry, box generation, somewhere up there. I don't know even, collision detection up here. It is very, very hard. And then, you know, I was looking at lines and how to calculate lines, and, you know, finding the code for that, and rotating stuff and stuff like that, right? And I just couldn't get it. I mean, it is, even though it looks simple when you look at the code, it is a complex mathematical solution. And I'm not that good mathematician. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not good mathematician, so I need some kind of help. So I was like, so right now I got again excited about the game, and I was like, you know what, let's me try to, you know, program a little bit and try to find solution for this problem. So what I was actually looking for is not actually trying to find find how you should supposed to calculate this and program this, but I was trying to, you know, who can I steal the code from. So what I did was look for, you know, okay, does anybody else has the code for this thing, and I can just copy the code, because I'm no longer, you know, self-centered, and I just want to give me just the code so I can copy the code, you know, and make my game, because I want a game. I don't want to be a, you know, world best programmer or world best mathematician or whatever. I just want to program the game. Just give me the code. And I was looking for it. Of course, this is one of the code sections that I found, intersection between points. You know, I create and stuff like that, rotation and stuff like that. Try different styles, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. There is always another problem and another problem and another problem. So I was like, you know what? People are smart. They probably made libraries for this. So it kind of hit me. I got a like epiphany moment. I don't know what's called epiphany moment. And I was like, hey man, let's try to look for somebody who actually, you know, created this. And the problem actually between the boxes is called something separate the axis theorem. It's a very complex problem. You see up here, it's a very complex problem. You gotta separate line. You can have different shapes, and it doesn't matter whether it's a polygon shape or a rectangular shape, because when you take a rectangle and you know, turn it around, it becomes a polygon, right? So you know, find intersection between polygons, stuff like that. It's a very complex problem. There is a, you know, this proof of theorem and stuff like that. Statement and proof, and it is really hard to code. It is really hard to code, and I just kind of got that you know, thing in my head. There is no way I'm ever gonna figure this out. I'm not here to, you know, get a university degree in mathematics and programming. Let me just steal the code. So this guy actually made something called set.js, and since I'm programming in JavaScript, he has a collision text and samples. What you're gonna see here, he has you know, he has all the objects, circle, polygon, and boxes, and some kind of response, and you can also do tests. Point in circle, point in polygon. So he has a library to calculate everything I need to calculate. And when I saw this, I was like, my mind just blew through the roof. Like, oh my god, I don't have ever to calculate any kind of hitbox ever again. And I kind of felt relief. And I took this down, and it actually started working on it, and it was so easy. It just worked, you know. It was just very nice, because just use somebody else's library, and it goes very nicely. But guys, the big problem was that I understood also another thing. I am not gonna make this game if I just continue with this, because I have to get another library and another library and a library for physics and this and that. So after I found this, I was like, okay, I would probably need some kind of physics in the game. Is there a library for physics? So I found, you know, what's called Box 2D. There is something called Box 2D. Let me show you. Box 2D. JS JavaScript. So you got a Box 2D port from right here, Box 2D. So this is a do they have no publications up here, posts? documentation. They got documentation, but it is what do you call it? It is a physics engine, and there are other physics engines like Matter.js, also a very great physics engines up here. And you can see here you can do all kind of physics. Like, you don't have to do calculation, you don't have to do the math. Like, smart people already did the math, already did the program, already make the classes, the functions, the methods to do the calculations. All you have to do is use what they already made in a simple form and just apply it to your game. And all I want to do is make a game. I don't want to do this. I don't want to make calculations for everything. And you can see here examples up here. Sorry, let's see demos. There are demos. Like you can do a lot of stuff. Like, and just calculating all of these things and making from scratch would take so much time for me, and I will probably never be able to do it because I'm not that smart. But people already made it, and that that pushed me into one more level of direction after this. And I was like, why would I want to make my whole engine, library after library after library, until I got batches of libraries, that I need to create what I want to create, when people already did that? And that's called game engines. Of course, one of the most popular game engines is Unity. Unity development, right? Unity. And I was checking Unity and Game Maker and Unreal 4, and last one I checked is Godot Engine. But the problem with some of these engines, they are also very complex. They are still in the style of, they got all the libraries, they got all the interfaces, to make your life easier when you are programming. But the problem is they are still, they're still a little bit complicated for people that just want to create games and don't want to think too much about. But Godot Engine, guys, I'm using right now this. This is the solution to all my problems. Literally the solution to all my problems. Because it is a game engine that contains all the libraries in your physics library, creating libraries, and it's such a easy to use program that I'm very, very excited about the game. I'm very, very excited about the game. I'm gonna tell you why I didn't use Unity on Unreal or Game Maker in just a second, but let me show you up here. And I just started this a couple of days ago, right? It is very easy to use engine. It's very speedy, it's free to use, and it is just a very, what are you gonna call it? Very user-friendly engine, So if you start the game up here, I just started this. Like, this took me very short-term time to make, just a ship flying up and down, you got zoom in, zoom out. But it's very, very easy to make because everything is about, it's object oriented. It's also very visual programming style, and they got a lot different approach to the programming and making of games than Unity and Game Maker and Unreal 4 has. Now let me explain to you why I chose actually Godot over Unity. That's most hugely used program, is because Godot is the next generation of game programming engines, and I'm gonna explain to you why. If you remember back in time, we all used to make web pages with HTML code, right? You open Notepad and you write HTML code, right? And after that, we got some kind of scripting language, JavaScript, PHP, we added some kind of code. But and once we start getting PHP, there came certain classes that will help you, create web pages, so you could make libraries. And after these libraries, people started making these. I don't know if you remember, there was a program called DreamMaker. There was also called something like Fire or something like that, right? Where you could make web pages in a style of just adding blocks to your page, and it will write the code for itself, right? That's what's the next things. And the big thing right now when it comes to web pages is something called Wix, or any kind of it's a I don't know how to say it, but it's a website builder that doesn't require code, right? You just take I want text over here, I want color over there, I want let me see if they got creations. doesn't matter. You know, you just add elements to your web page, and it just creates code in the background. Now you still do have to do you know, coding if you want something extra beside that. But it is very user intuitive program, right? It is very intuitive, and right now all of these web maker programs are, this is the next generation, right? You can build a web shop with 2 clicks, like click here, click there, and you got a web shop already running on your web page. Now you still got to use, you know, you got certain variables that you can change, and you can also add the code to make it more functional, to make it a little bit different and stuff like that, right? You can expand on that, but you don't have to build everything from scratch. And that's where the engines are actually coming right now too. Now the problem with Unity, it's not visual program, it's not visual adding, while Godot is the next generation of engines that are actually visually stimulating. So you're just adding stuff to this, to what they call a scene, and then you build the code behind that, telling what you wanted to do, right? What you wanted to do. There's a lot of pre-coded stuff that you don't have to do, and that's the beauty of it. Like if you have the engine up here, I'm gonna show you the engine. So this is the engine, and if you got some kind of player, you can add the player camera to that. Instead of, you know, translating all the way towards your ship, if this over here is the actual window, right now playing camera is at 0, 0, but if you have the if you want to have the player in the center up here, then you have to translate the window all the way to every frame towards the center, and then move the whole thing around. But right now you can have the, you know, player at 0, 0, you can have the camera that's just showing you this part over here and moving it around, and you don't have to program this. Is very easily done. Now I did a little bit program, but you can you know, if you delete this node over here and we play it around, you'll see right now that the ship is not moving. There is no camera movement, right? The ship is just moving, but you can just add the camera, and it's super easy. You just add node camera up here, you put camera on current, you play that, and you already got the camera following the ship. It's super easy because you don't have to program the camera. There is no code, there is nothing that needs to be done, right? And it's super easy. Now you can make the code better. You can make the camera better, like over here, and add a script to this, and you will see in the script up here. In the script up here, I add the zoom function in and out. So when you have this code up here right now, it's still following the camera. That's the standard camera, but you can have zooming in and zooming out, right? So it is very, you know, visually stimulating. It is very easy. They got also this script called GD script, which is very similar to Python or JavaScript. It's a very simple script. It's very easy to get. Now people say like, oh, I don't want to learn another script. Like every script is the same. Like every object-oriented language is the same. If you know 2-3 languages, you already know how to program. It just, you know, it's just the what's it called? It's not semantics, but it's how you write the functions. Like if you write an entire word function, this and that. If you put you know, the arguments before or after, or if you put some kind of lines, everything is same. You still got for loops, while loops, classes, you know, methods, you know, inheritance, all of those kind of stuffs. It's object-oriented, you know, scripting language, and it's very, very, very easy to get into. It's very easy. It's like super easy, and the documentation for this thing is very, very thorough. Like it's insanely good. It's insanely good. So reason I'm not using Unity or Unreal 4, Unreal Engine, or what's the next one, Game Maker, or anything else, is because they are not the next generation of game making. The Godot is the next generation. The Unreal is still way behind. It's an old programming environment that is very, very big, and they are trying to add stuff to it all the time, and they're trying to change that a little bit, but they are gonna have a big time adjusting to the new way of making games. Now Godot is already on that train, and that's why everybody's flocking into Godot right now, you know, especially to the game maker developers, is because it's so easy. It has everything. It is a lot more intuitive. It is a lot more accessible to new classes. And the 2D engine they have is actually, by some tests, a lot better than Unity 2D engine. That said, the reason Unity is still so popular is because of 3D. Godot has a little bit, it's lagging behind when it comes to 3D. But I am gonna make a bet right now that Godot is gonna surpass Unity and GameMaker and Unreal 4 and every other engine in user base once they get the 3D, more towards what am I gonna say? More towards what big gaming studio need, right? So Godot Engine for Duty is the program, is the #1 next generation of game engines to use, and that's why I'm using it. It's also 100% free. There is nothing to be paid. It is super easy to use, and I love that. I love that. I was so excited about that, and that's my problem to all my. That's the solution to all my problems. That's literally the solution to all my problems. And once I get into it, because right now the reason this took a little bit time. This piece of code, I mean, it's like 3 pieces of code. It's not because I have to write 3 lines of code. It's because I have to figure out how the scenes work, how the nodes work, which nodes I use for what, how to set up the things. You have to wrap your mind around how the new engine is set up, how everything works. So it takes a little bit of time. It's a lot of googling about how do I do this in this, how do I do that, because you kind of know what you have to do, and the way you used to program before, it's a little bit different than how it's done over here when it comes to classes and what classes are and what scenes are and how nodes work. But it's such an easy thing to do. Like, if I knew how to use Godot, making this over here right now, it would take literally less than 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes to make this over here. Literally less than 5 minutes to make this over here. So I already on a way to this is Godot 3.5. I downloaded the beta version of Godot 4 because it's the next thing. So I want to let me try Godot. Now the problem with Godot 4, I'm gonna show you this over here. I'm gonna show you, and it is by far my biggest pet peeve, and I don't think I will ever go to Godot 4 because 3.5 has everything, literally everything I need. And if there is something I need that it is on Godot 4, I will probably switch, but because they got this very nice porting mechanism. I probably switch, but I won't like it. I'm gonna show you why. So if you see the code up here, right, and the biggest problem, I tried Godot 4 last night. Let me try to open this up here, and let me try to find the code. Godot 4 is up here. Let me open Godot 4, and we're gonna show you now. Look how text is over here, right? And I'm gonna show you the same code in Godot 4. So this over here is Godot 3.5. It's not right now starting up, it's loading up, and let me and this over here is Godot 4. Let me show you when you go to the player and go to the scripts up here. And what you're gonna see is that they changed the font on this thing over here. They changed actually the font on everything. They actually changed the font on everything. They changed the font on sidebars up here. You can see up here that it's not it's not bold text up here on the top 2D 3D stuff like that, right? It's not bold text, it's normal text, right? But the biggest pet peeve I have is they changed the font. I really like this font over here. It's very nice and cozy and warm. But when you look at the number 4, they changed to something like that looks more like programming language font or something. I think this font is called Hack or something like that. Maybe this is called Hack as well. It's a little bit different, but this is so nice to look at. This is so nice to look at. So if you're gonna get into Godot and don't download the beta version Godot 4, get the Godot 3.5. It has everything you need for 2D, and I'm really excited about it because how you set it, because you can see here I got a Galaxy node with a player up here. Player is actually another class itself. So you know, you made class, you add the, you know, camera to that player, then you added that player to the, you know, galaxy, the, you know, background. You can add some kind of sprite up here very easily towards the background, stuff like that. You can change it whether you want it to transform, and you know, you got a lot of options on everything, right? Every single thing has a lot of options to do. You can send signals on collisions and stuff like that. We're not even close to that right now, but I'm so excited, guys. I'm very, very excited about Godot. I'm very excited about my, you know, space game. It's actually gonna get developed more, so there will be more updates, but next update is gonna come, it's gonna come in Godot once I come to, you know, this kind of development. So I need to add you know, planets, asteroids, NPCs, shooting missiles and a laser. And now as soon as you see here bug, and as soon as I do that, you know, and adjust a little bit, there will be a new update and showing you case we back on the track, guys. We back on the track, guys. Thanks you for watching, and I'll see you in the next update. I was hoping to keep these updates short, but you know, sometimes, you know, update needs to be a little bit longer. I do hope that you understood that this is this takes a little bit of time. There is one more thing I want to show you. One more thing, one last thing I want to show you up here. Let me see up here, just a second. And the last thing is I want to give a shout out to X Wizard. Is also making a space game in Game Maker, and he is doing pretty well. He's got a ship, he's got enemies up here, he can shoot at enemies. He's a very fun guy to watch, so he does a lot of coding and programming. But I want to give a shout out to X Wizard, and I want to give a shout out to one more guy, but that guy stopped making the games. There's not a lot of people, game developer blogs on YouTube that are doing, you know, space game RPG. I mean, it's just not. So any kind of community we can create with you know, 2D space games, RPG, dev blogs and stuff like that, it's always good. So it's good to give a shout out to people, you know, and although I only got 7 people, you know, 7 subscribers and stuff like that, check this guy out. Maybe you can subscribe to him as well. Yeah, you know, he's making game, I'm making game, it's all good. And man, X Wizard, I know that you're using Game Maker, and I know you said you use Game Maker for like 10 years or something like that. It's really hard to, you know, switch from something, you know. I use paint.net. It's a quite great program, but it was free when I got it, you know, when it comes to painting stuff and stuff like that. But if I was really serious about painting and stuff like that, you know, I would probably switch to, you know, something more that everybody uses as more, you know, user friendly and stuff like that. It's not more useful, got more functions and stuff like that, right? You know, Paint Shop or something like that. All right. So although Game Maker, I hope you watched this video, although Game Maker, it is probably doing the thing that you need to do. The next generation of game engines is Godot. So check it out, and I'm gonna give you a challenge, man. I'm gonna give you a challenge. I'm gonna give you one challenge. I want you to download Godot 3.5, and I don't want you to make, you know, anything that you want. I want you to go. They got very good docs, and they got this introduction called Getting Started. I want you to get through the introduction, step by step, and you're first to the game. You don't, and if you don't like Godot by then, if you get gone through introduction step by step and you're first to the game, and I want you to, and I don't want you to program in C# or C++. I want you to use the scripting language. It is very easy to get into. This is very easy to get into. Your first game, not the first 3D game, but first 2D game. There is a lot of, you know, there is a lot of other, you know, tutorials and stuff like that for other stuff, but no, just these 3 first steps. Introduction, step by step, your first 2D game. Do that. And if you don't like Godot by then, if you don't want to switch after 10 years of Game Maker, if you are not convinced by then how next generation this engine is, you do Game Maker, man. You do Game Maker. But that's my challenge to you. That's my challenge to you. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll make an update as soon as something happens. Until then, you know, flying the ship. Woohoo! Yeah! Bang, bang, bang. No hitboxes. Doesn't matter. Let's go. Acceleration. Yeah, but still max speed. Okay, acceleration. There we go. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Let's make rotation. Wow! And let's make drag non-existent. I mean, there is no drag in space, but you know, technically you could add some kind of you know, mechanical drag from the spaceship, something like that. I'll see you guys. Bye bye.